This is our bird feeding station, if you will. It's actually just an old screen out of an old screen door. And it works well because the water runs through it. It doesn't get to be a pasty, sticky mess. The seed that we use safflower, thistle seed, and a wild bird food seed. And we get lots of different kinds of birds. We get grosbeaks, lots of sparrows, grackles, orioles, woodpeckers want to enjoy the trees every once in a while. We hear them. They seem to readily eat it because it gets filled quite often. I have no idea what the base is from. We found it somewhere and the screen fit on it, so that's why it's there. And once again, it's rust.
It looks like you like to use a lot of antiques.
I do enjoy the old things.
And where do you get a lot of them from?
We just kind of spot them here and there. We don't necessarily even go looking for things. They just, you're wandering around and you see something you think will work. We get it.
Tell me the story about this bell.
This bell, we're really not even sure where it originated, but we ended up purchasing at a auction sale. And it does have the bell in the bottom. So the grandkids used to like to see how much noise they could make with it, and it is quite loud.
And are there some other antiques that you have gotten from your family's farms or other things too that you've used?
Well, I do have a cream can cart that belonged to Glenn's uncle that I use for put a flower pot on. It's got the big iron wheels on it. And the tub that I use is actually a silage tub that I used when we lived on a farm site and fed cattle. No bottom left in it, but a pot fits inside of it. So that's how I use it. And our old pump, of course it doesn't pump water, but it just makes it interesting in the old wood barrel there.
So does the fire hydrant really belong? I mean, is it the city's or is it yours?
Well, it used to be the city's, and it was no longer working, so they had to replace it. So it just laid up here by the city shop, and Glenn asked if they weren't going to use it for anything, if he could have it. So we cut the big long pipe off the bottom of it and buried it over here.
Tell me the story behind this wheel.
We were at a friend's house, and he had these leaning up against a shed. We're not real sure what it was used for, but we think there was probably a pipe through the middle hole and another spool on the other side, so that it was like a spool with something wrapped on that inner pipe. And this is kind of a work in progress. I just kind of add to it as I find things. These are heat protectors that went around the stovepipe in the old houses that heated with wood or coal as it went up through the vents to the upper level. And the stovepipe went through the middle. And I have found another one. This was coated with lots of paint. And I had it sandblasted, so now I'm going to let it rust. And then I'll position this somewhere on there. I'm not sure exactly where, but I'm hoping to incorporate them. But yeah, we just kind of pick up here and there.
Well, it looks like you like to use some succulents too. Do you make those new each spring or do you overwinter them, and how?
Well, I do keep some of them. The trailing one there, I do keep over winter. I have a couple of those. They're in different baskets because they are so hardy. Some of them I do buy if I find one that looks really interesting. Otherwise, yeah, I just keep them over winter in my garage. And that seems to be enough to just maintain them. They don't grow, but they do maintain that way.
What's the story behind your little truck?
Well, Glenn has, for years, always had an old truck that he drove back and forth to work, whatever he could pick up. And one year, our daughter gave that to Glenn for Father's Day. And we've had it for many years. It's got lots of rust in the truck box, but it still holds water when it rains. So yeah, he gets put away every winter and bring him back in the spring, and he just takes up space there.
What is the little dish out in the yard here for?
Glenn made that. He drilled a hole through a cup and a saucer and just used the bolt to head into the steel pipe. And we put grape jelly in there for the Orioles. And they eat it almost as fast as we can put it out there. But they enjoy it. They must like it, and of course the water's close by, which they also like too.
That's what I was going to ask. You have several water features, right?
Oh, we actually have 4. We have 3 bird baths, and that we've collected here and there. Then we also have a circulating pump, made from an old cistern pump. I think this maybe the noise attracts them a little bit, the water noise, because they seem to be plentiful back there too. We like to just sit and watch and see what shows up, and the Orioles are so pretty.
It seems to me like you like to use gates and ladders and stuff. Where did that come from?
That old gate, actually, we hauled home from Kansas. We were in Kansas. We were coming through Kansas. Glenn has a sister who lives there, and a guy across the street is kind of a real collector. And so we wandered over there just to see what he might have. And then he had this gate. And so we purchased them from him. And of course, we were driving our Equinox, and we probably looked like the Griswolds as we drove home from down there. It howled all the way home because they wouldn't fit in the vehicle. We had to tie them on top. So we had small chunks of carpet underneath so it wouldn't scratch up the car. But we managed to get it home. And then the little finials on the top are actually old ones off a bed. And then, of course, we have that birdhouse over there. He's so homely, he's kind of cute. We do get sparrows, I think, pretty much habitate in there. I think they kind of like it in there.